So bottom line, study the material first and foremost. If you wanted to start with your own box truck, God bless you, but understand, if you were to do that, that is not the end game. It's like, do not fall into a trap of, I'm gonna get a box truck and I'm gonna scale it by adding more box trucks. That is not how you're gonna make real money. My margins went from, let's say 12-ish to closer to 30-ish. And now I hover higher, in the high 20s. Big difference, And I had at one point in time 52, went down to 48. I have 50 current contractors, not including any. When I talk about contractors, really the bulk of my business are the strong backs, bottom line. But I know absolute 100% certainty the overall labor force is bigger than that, but they're not on my books. I have guys that further sub out work, which God bless you, I'm cool with that. As long as the job gets done, it gets done right. It's all I care about. And the reason I know that is, A, they've told me. B, if we're giving you multiple work orders that are pretty much at the same time in two separate locations, I know you're not in two places at once. But again, I don't care, do what you want to do, as long as the job gets done and gets done right. And so what we also do is, and this is where I put out a video maybe you've seen before, where I talked about, so like even when these guys first started the stuff my business has even changed since last year. So like when these guys purchased it, they got the manual in there. And in that book, it outlines the actual policies and procedures for my overall broker business, and it talks about how you own your own truck and you got your own insurance. I 100% know for an absolute fact that we have guys that go rent a truck. Now, if they're willing to rent their own truck, do they have their own cargo insurance, all that stuff? No, absolutely not. Now, the customer, I'm going to be honest with you, doesn't give a flying rip. They don't care. They just want good service, and you showing up on time, you're doing the same. I mean, it's easy peasy. They don't care you roll up in a Penske. And most of them go with Penske or budget, because U-Haul is actually considerably more expensive as compared to budget and Penske. So, go ahead.
I just bought a book from Amazon. It was a budget truck that delivered. Amazon, the big boy.
Beautiful.
I'm just saying,
Did you see that? Did you see that? I sent out a blurb a while back, a newsletter, where across from my mom's house they had, I don't know if you've ever seen or heard of Schwann's. They
Delivery,
yeah.
Hey,
They
Schwann's is Minnesota. We're like
Yeah.
Heart attack in the
Exactly.
freezer.
Exactly.
No, they really come a long
Yeah.
way with it.
So they ended up. So I stop by and visit my mom all the time, take care of her. I own her house, all that stuff. So when I'm there, I take the kids there and everything. I'm like, hey, that's the frickin' Swan dude. I'm like, what's he doing driving the Ryder truck? Truck broke down. They put frickin' stuff in a cooler, put it in a Ryder truck. So even Swan, when it's go time, go rent a frickin' box truck and get the job done. And then, do you guys remember that? I put it out. I took a picture of it, sent it out in a quick newsletter. I'm like, dude, even Swans. Like, dude, I love the resourcefulness. I love the resourcefulness. I love the creativity. I love the innovation of it. Go ahead.
This is off track.
No, go ahead.
If I get a contractor, is the majority of the deliveries of one man? I understand they expect it would be two. My question when I'm soliciting you guys, that's more.
I would have told you go with two, but you saw the video with Spikes, and I'm like, well, G-O-D.
Too many spikes out.
Dude, I was, man, that dude freaking blew my socks off, bro. That was crazy.
Have a two
Yeah.
delivery.
But remember, even in that video, Spike thought he had a helper lined up and he sold them out. But that's what, man, this is what I love. I just love hardworking dudes. And again, Jacob was there filming it. And I didn't know the backstory, so that he heard the conversations with, when I was talking to Carlos on the phone, he heard the whole thing. He can vouch for all this stuff. I'm just thinking, all right, this guy's just freaking, I'm thinking like he's not gonna get a helper because he wanted money, didn't want it, because I don't pay helpers, you pay your own helper. But then come to find out the backstory, had a helper lined up, sold out on him, didn't show up, and then when he was going to deliver that couch, the elevator ain't working, he hauled that thing up 3 flights. Now, even I ain't doing that. Even I'm like, screw, I'm gonna break this piece by piece, and I'll rebuild it up there. I ain't doing that. And then he hauls down the old one. As Jacob, it was hysterical because at one point in time, he's dragging a sheet. I think it was on video, maybe it wasn't. He's dragging a sheet and it had cushions from the old couch. And he's like throwing them in with authority. And it's still, and at this time, I still didn't, yeah. And it's okay, it was on video then. So at that time, I still didn't even know the backstory. We didn't know that until we stopped to get something to eat. And then Carlos told me all that stuff. And I was like, dude, that's the stuff you love
The
right
reason I'm
there.
asking is I got some people that own the box trucks, but now they want to hire, they kind of sublet that, so.
So here's what
less money
happens.
for that
It's
guy.
total, it's a total, you have to play with human dynamics, read people, because people are gonna feed you so much crap. And you gotta know when they're feeding you crap and when they're not. And I'll give you a case in point. So when I was first, and there's a lot of things, again, just keep asking questions because so much will come out. So when I'm first starting this up, so this is back early, and I'm gonna take that back. This is back in 2012-ish when I wanted to bring on contractors and stuff, so 12-ish and 13-ish. And I'm going to interview guys. So I'm still, we're still new. I got a little bit of a track record and a whole lot. There's been times where I'm literally in a guy's living room, took a guy out to eat. The mistake that I made, so when I first brought on guys, I said, hey, I'm paying you up, so you don't have to work. There's no such thing as a law. I'm paying you. There's work, you're gonna get paid. So it was a no-brainer for them. But now you're asking someone to go on and work as commission-based. So a couple of the mistakes I made. Number one, early on, I don't want to say I oversold them, but I gave them TMI. I gave them too much information. I told them everything about what we're doing and where we're headed, and honestly, I think their brains were short-circuiting. They only see what's in front of them. Again, I'm not trying to crap on anybody, so let's equate.
Thank you for saying that. Can you please repeat that? I
I'm not trying to crap on anybody.
Video. When you give people too much information,
100%.
they tend to only see what's in front of them.
100%.
That's probably more common than what we think.
100%. 100%.
Thank you
And so
for
I think
bringing
that
to attention.
I really think, and that was a tactical error on my part, but I didn't know. I mean, I had to learn this, okay? So, whereas I'm thinking, okay, me, sell me on the vision, get the message to Garcia, I can figure it out. I love it. Okay, that's great. Not everyone's like that. It is what it is. And not everyone needs to be like that. People are good at this, people are good at that. We're not all the same. It is what it is, man. So, like one guy, he was, great dude. His name was Ed, loved him. Nice box truck in his house, man. With him for an hour, loved it. Yep, I'm in. Man, I no longer hit like a mile down the road. He's calling, he's like, yep, I'm looking forward to it, gonna do it. But I'm only gonna do it if you guarantee me $500 a day. I'm like, dude, first of all, I am the absolute wrong dude to ever throw a gauntlet down. You want to challenge me on something? It ain't, nah. And I'm not saying it's like stubborn pride, but bottom line is, you're never gonna hold leverage on me. It's not gonna happen. I'm an entrepreneur. I need to do what's in the best interest of the business, bottom line. I'm not gonna let someone have leverage on me. That's why I would never personally be able to coexist with like Logisticare or something like that. So I'm like, no, I'm good. Now look, I got guys now who are making $3,000 a week. He could have earned himself to that. But it's actually good that it didn't work out like that because he was actually closer to Charlotte, which would have put me back in there. And you know what? God just has a way of timing things up. I was always worried, like, I need to go to Charlotte. I'm just glad I waited because I got such a better setup now.